Yes, my friends, this is the new moon that you've been waiting for. New moons are all about new beginnings, setting new intentions. You know the deal, right? But with a new moon in the sign of Libra, our thoughts and emotions are going to be focused on one of our favorite topics, relationships. So yes, if you're trying to manifest a new boo, or if you're trying to mend an existing relationship, this is going to be the new moon for you. In this video, I'll discuss everything you need to know about this fabulous new moon in Libra and what you can do to make the most of it. So stick around, you don't want to miss it. What's up, everybody? As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, my name is Mel, and I'm an astrologer here at Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you're returning, welcome back. I'm super excited about today's video because when I tell you this new moon in Libra is going to be amazing, I think it's an understatement. All right, so the new moon in Libra is going down on Sunday, September 25th at 5:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have to be honest with you, I can honestly say that this new moon is probably going to be my favorite new moon of the year for several reasons. Number one, September is my favorite month. Number two, the subject matter of this new moon is one of my favorite subject matters. And number three, the astrology of this new moon is absolutely amazing. So when I tell you that this new moon has the possibility to transform your relationships for the better, please believe me, because it does. All right. So one of the major themes of this new moon is going to be the concept of harmony. The astrology points directly to this concept. So we have the ability to not only get new relationships, right? We can all get booed up. We can mend existing relationships. And regardless of which path you take, you can enjoy successful and harmonious relationships. Like, it really doesn't get any better than that. All right, so without further ado, let's get into everything you need to know about this amazing new moon in Libra, and stick around to the end because, as always, I'll be pulling some cards for a message from Spirit. All right, so let's get into it. Number one, this new moon is all about beautiful new beginnings. So you know the deal. New moons are when the lunar cycle restarts. It's the very beginning of the lunar cycle. The slate is wiped clean, and so are we. We can start anew. We can manifest new things, we can set new intentions and plant new seeds. Now, with the new moon going down in the sign of Libra, obviously the subject matter of this new moon is relationships. But this isn't just about calling in your raggedy ex or calling in any relationship for that matter just for the sake of it. This is about attracting relationships that are fair, equitable, peaceful, and harmonious. I want you to remember those four things, because if the relationship doesn't fit those four things, then it ain't worth your time, all right? So this is all about beautiful new beginnings, okay? Even if you're trying to manifest an ex coming back, or you're trying to mend an existing relationship, this new moon is going to act as a catalyst to reset and restart the cycle, especially with all of the retrograde planets right now. So it's important to keep in mind that these new beginnings in relationships are meant to be beautiful, effortless, peaceful, and harmonious, just like Libra likes it. Number two, this new moon is all about relationships of all kinds. I'm pretty sure that when I say relationships, the first thing that pops into your head is like romantic relationships, right? But that's definitely not the case. Venus, and thereby Libra, pertains to all types of relationships. And depending on where this new moon is going down in your chart, that is the relationship that's going to come into focus. So for instance, if Libra is on the cusp of your 11th house of friendships, your relationships with your friends are going to come into your purview. Conversely, if Libra is on the cusp of your 4th house of home and family, then your parental relationships or your relationships with your close family members will come into sharp focus. But regardless, whatever relationship is the subject of this new moon, it's going to be all about love, harmony, peace, and equity. One of the things that Libra highlights is the concept of you versus the other, and that's why Libra is symbolized by the two scales. It's not just about being an independent person, but it's also about how you relate to other people. And in relating to other people, that's what gives us a certain sense of emotional satisfaction. No man is an island, and at times, while we love our independence, it's necessary for us to relate to other people, whether it's through friendship, family, or through love. The best thing about this new moon is that because it focuses so much on peace and harmony, it's all about making our best and closest relationships peaceful and harmonious, okay? So one of the best things to enjoy about this new moon is the relationship factor. And again, whether you're manifesting a new relationship or mending an old one, this new moon will definitely not disappoint. Number 3, this new moon is all about the power of 2. So the number 2 plays a very significant role in this new moon. First and foremost, the moon is going down, well, this new moon is going down at 2 degrees Libra. So that means that the sun and the moon will both be at 2 degrees Libra. And when we examine the numerology of the number 2, it plays perfectly, not only into this new moon, but into the energy of Libra. All right, so let me explain. So when we talk about the number 2 is a very powerful number. Not only is it feminine expressing, but it's also very intuitive, okay? There's this undercurrent of intuition and empathy that goes with the number 2, and that therefore will be running all up and through this new moon. The number 2 is also associated with things like partnership, which again, plays perfectly into the concept of relationships with this new moon. It's all about cooperation, teamwork, peace, harmony, and equilibrium. Like, you can't even make this up. The astrology, the numerology, everything works together beautifully and seamlessly, all right? So some of the other things that the number 2 pertains to are things like cooperation, teamwork, intuition, instinct, empathy, emotions. Like I said before, the number 2 is a very feminine number. And speaking of feminine, the number 2 is associated with the sign of Taurus, which is the second zodiac sign, right? Taurus is also ruled by Venus, so there's this undercurrent of Venusian energy all up and through this new moon. The number 2 is also associated with the sign of Cancer and the moon. Now, Cancer and the moon are the quintessential signs, element, planet for feminine energy. So it's not just about relationships for the sake of relationships. I feel like the number 2 is here to show us that it's not just about cooperation and pairing up, but it's about connecting with people on a deeper level, on an intuitive level. When we understand people on a deeper level, we're able to share empathy with them, which makes our relationship stronger, deeper, and our bonds a lot closer. So again, with the number 2 being the focal point of this new moon, it's not just about relationships just for the sake of having someone around, calling someone your boyfriend or girlfriend. This is about forging a new relationship. Now, it could be new or it could be existing, but on a level that is peaceful, harmonious, and deep. This is about really understanding someone and being understood as well. And in the process, you can have a beautiful and healthy relationship. So when I do my research for these Moon Series videos, I like to look into what are called Sabian symbols. Sabian symbols basically gives you a summary of what each degree of the zodiac means. And they can seem kind of random, but in my research, they have been extremely spot on. So the Sabian symbol for the second degree of Libra is the dawn of a new day reveals everything has changed. And what I love about this is that this speaks directly to mending existing relationships. So let's say that you fell out with somebody, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, a parent, a child, a sister, a friend, business associate, you get the deal. And you're looking to get things back on track. Well, according to the Sabian symbol for this particular degree, the energy is very conducive to seeing things in a new light and to experience sudden changes in the relationship in a good way. So whatever transpired in the past is probably long and forgotten. The energy of this new moon is all about a new day, shining light on a new relationship and seeing things from a different perspective. I absolutely love this for mending old relationships, strengthening existing ones, even for finding new relationships, because I feel like even if you haven't dated this person before, or even if you haven't encountered this person before, you're gonna forget some of your old habits, some of your old patterns and insecurities from the past, and experience and go into these relationships with a fresh set of eyes and a new spirit in your heart. So I cannot stress enough how important not only is the number 2 to this new moon in Libra, but the idea of experiencing something new, letting it be harmonious, experiencing things you've never experienced before, and opening yourself up to the beauty that is relationship. Number 4. The astrology of this new moon is absolutely amazing. I have to say, I think it's the astrology of this new moon that's my favorite feature of this new moon. Like, the astrology couldn't be any better, all right? So first and foremost, we've got 6 planets that are retrograde. And while everyone tends to be up in arms when it comes to retrograde, I feel like in this particular instance, retrograde is actually here to help us, especially if you're looking to get back with someone or get an existing relationship back on track. But even if you're not, it allows you to sort of review and revise maybe your past habits, maybe your past insecurities, anything from your past that could stand in the way of having a new and healthy relationship is going to be up for review. So you can make changes and tweak things as you see necessary. All right, that's number 1. Number 2, we've got Mercury and Venus in close proximity to the new moon. So like I said, the sun and the moon are going to be at 2 degrees Libra. So Mercury is going to be at 29 degrees Virgo, which is right there, and it's technically a conjunction. So for those who don't know, in astrology, a conjunction is when 2 or more planets share the same exact degree. They're in close proximity to each other, and conjunctions denote synergy. So the energy of Mercury retrograde is going to be mixing with the energy of this new moon. So it's going to allow us to redo, revisit, reevaluate everything with respect to relationships, which I think honestly is a great thing, okay? Next up, we have Venus also conjunct the new moon as well. So Venus is going to be a little farther away, but still within conjunction range of the new moon. So not only is the new moon going down in Libra, the sign of relationships, but the ruler of Libra, Venus, is also going to be conjunct the new moon. So relationships abound, okay? And even if it's not necessarily relationships that are up for review or that are going to be the subject of this new moon for you, Venus also rules money, okay? So maybe money is going to get better. Maybe you're going to attract the right people to help you get more money, to raise money or save money, right? So maybe it's not just relationships that are going to be, in the mix for you. Money may also be a really good factor in this new moon as well. So keep that in mind, depending on where this new moon is going down in your chart. So we've got 6 retrograde planets. We have Mercury retrograde and Venus conjunct the new moon. Next, we have a trine between the new moon and Pluto, okay? So in astrology, a trine is when 2 or more planets are at a 120-degree angle between each other. Trines denote harmony and peace and effortless action. Things just fall into place with trines. They are a very positive aspect, all right? So if we're talking about Pluto, Pluto is all about death, rebirth, and transformation. So what I love about the trine to Pluto with this new moon is the fact that this new moon can really transform our relationships for the better. Specifically, relationships that may have been dead in the water can now be revived. And this is my absolute favorite feature of this new moon. If you thought a relationship was done, dead, finished, right? Pluto, especially Pluto retrograde, can actually bring it back to life. So everything I talked about before with respect to the new moon, add the energy and intensity of Pluto reviving things, and it makes for an absolutely amazing new moon, like I said before, all right? And then finally, we have an opposition between the new moon and Jupiter in Aries. Now in astrology, an opposition is when 2 or more planets are at 180 degrees between each other. Now typically oppositions denote struggle, it denotes things being out of balance, and it denotes external dilemmas, okay? So oppositions tend to be a harsh or a negative aspect. However, because Jupiter is one of the most positive planets in our solar system, whenever you have a Jupiter opposition, it's actually pretty positive. So with the Jupiter opposition to this new moon, it actually brings opportunities for success, happiness, abundance, and good fortune. So it's almost like whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever seeds you're planting at this new moon, Jupiter is going to give it a sprinkling of good luck and abundance. So there's no way that you can really fail with this new moon. Now keep in mind, the seeds you plant today are not the fruit that you eat today. You plant the seeds today and you eat the fruit sometime in the future. But if you plant those seeds at this new moon, there is no way that you cannot have an amazing relationship in your life. Again, I think this is one of my favorite features of this new moon in Libra. Number 5, here's what you should do to take full advantage of this new moon. So like I said before, and like I've been saying throughout this video, this new moon is going to be absolutely amazing, right? So I feel like it's one of those new moons that you're not going to want to sit out. I feel like you're going to want to do something. But keep in mind that something that you're going to do is not necessarily what you're thinking, okay? You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, there's all this great energy. Oh my gosh, I should do this. I should do this new moon ritual. I should do this. Here's the thing. No. So keep in mind, and I want to remind you that Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is all about attraction. The energy of this new moon is super feminine, and feminine energy is not about chasing. It's not about being proactive. It's about planting fertile soil and setting the right environment so that you attract the right things to you. So keep in mind that everything related to this new moon is about attraction, not necessarily action, okay? Second, I love the fact that not only is Libra concerned with relationships and everything Venus, right? But the fact that Libra is a cardinal air sign means that it's about initiating things. But when we talk about air signs, we're talking about communication and ideas. It's all about how we think about relationships, how we think about the other person, and how we think about ourselves, to be honest, that's going to allow us to attract the relationships that we want. So basically, for this new moon, you need to get your mind right. You can't expect to attract a wonderful and positive relationship if your thoughts about relationship, if your thoughts about the other person, or even if your thoughts about yourself are in the gutter or are in the garbage, right? Like attracts like. And so if you're looking to have an amazing relationship, you need to think amazing thoughts about relationships. So rather than try to do a lot for this new moon, what you really need to do is get your mind right. For those that are into manifestation, this is going to be the time to work on your affirmations. Maybe you want to script, maybe you want to visualize, but by and large, you're going to want to change the way you think about yourself and about relationships. You're going to want to work on your self-concept. You're going to want to work around your assumptions regarding relationships. If you keep those high, if you keep those positive with the astrology and everything else going on with this new moon, again, there is no way that you cannot attract the relationship that you truly want and desire. So the best way to make use of this energy and to take advantage of this new moon is to get your mind right. When you do that, everything else will flow effortlessly. If you're looking to get started with affirmations, specifically when it comes to self-concept or to specific people and relationships, I've got 2 videos that I'll link in the description box below on specific person and self-concept that you guys can watch to get started, all right? Now, one of the other things that you'll want to be aware of with this new moon is that because Libra is a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs are typically characterized as the signs that take action, you may feel inspired to take action. Now, I have a specific theory when it comes to that. So whenever you're manifesting and whenever you're using the law of assumption to manifest specifically, any action that you're supposed to take with respect to that manifestation has to be inspired action. Inspired action just means that if you are telling yourself this new assumption, right? Let's say your new assumption is that I always have the best relationships. And this is the assumption that you repeat to yourself either via affirmations, scripting, or visualizing. In your mind, you're constantly repeating, I have the best relationships. I have the best relationships. I have the best relationships. When you finally step into that mindset of having the best relationships, you're going to be inspired to take particular actions. So that may mean that you strike up a conversation with someone that you haven't talked to before, or maybe you go someplace different so that you can meet new people. The point I'm trying to make is, for some, it may not be just about having the right mindset. You may be inspired to take certain actions. But the clue or the sort of concept that I use when taking inspired action is, if it aligns with my new assumption, then I take the action. If it aligns with an old assumption or an old way of thinking, I don't. Okay? And I think that you should adopt the same theory as well. Because like I said before, you can't attract a beautiful new relationship if your mind is in the garbage, right? And so if you find that you're acting out of loneliness, neediness, codependency, or any insecurities, that's not inspired action. That's acting in accordance with your old story. So if you feel inspired to take any action and it's in alignment with your new assumption and your new way of thinking, by all means, go for it. All right, so here's a breakdown of everything you need to know for the upcoming new moon in Libra. Number one, this new moon is all about beautiful new beginnings in relationships, and it can apply to brand spanking new relationships or mending existing ones. Number two, the new moon concerns relationships of all kinds. You're going to want to look at where Libra is in your natal chart, and that will let you know what relationships are going to be emphasized. However, because Libra and Venus represent relationships in general, this energy can be applied to any relationship that you choose. Number three, the number 2 is very important with respect to this new moon. Not only does it reinforce the concept of relationships via cooperation, teamwork, and partnership, it also evokes energies related to peace, harmony, emotions, empathy, and intuition. So it's not just about partnering up. It's about partnering up in a way that's substantive, that's deep, and that sets the stage for a healthy relationship. Number 4, the astrology of this new moon is absolutely amazing. With 6 retrograde planets, Mercury and Venus conjunct the new moon, Pluto trine the new moon, and Jupiter opposite the new moon, we're not only going to be able to revisit existing relationships, transform old ones, we're also going to enjoy success, good fortune, and abundance when it comes to whatever relationships we're trying to manifest. And number 5, to take full advantage of this new moon, you're going to want to get your mind right, change the way you think about yourself and relationships, and take inspired action. All right, as promised, I've pulled some cards to get a message from Spirit for us. So if you made it this far into the video, comment below with a new moon emoji so I know that you're still here and you're still watching. All right, so I absolutely love this message. And to be honest, when I was shuffling the cards, I got this feeling of giddiness. I got this feeling of happiness, and I got a serious feeling of optimism. Like, I can't stress that enough. The optimistic feeling that this new moon is bringing is something that we definitely need, all right? I feel like times have been tough. I know for me, relationships have been kind of a sore spot. I feel like this new moon is going to reset everything. It's going to reset the stage, reset the board for us to have some amazing relationships, all right? So the first card that came out is this Jupiter card, okay? And of course, going back to the astrology of this new moon, Jupiter is going to be opposite the new moon. And I want you to look at what this says. It is abundance, right? So there is an abundant nature to this new moon. I feel like we can expect abundance. I feel like things are going to work out for the better. I know that relationships tend to be a sore spot, right? Many of us have certain hangups when it comes to relationships. Relationships evoke certain emotions in us, some of them that may not be that good. But I feel like this new moon is going to allow you to be optimistic with respect to relationships. Keep in mind, and I love the depiction of this card, right? There's a whole bunch of fruit, there's a pumpkin, there's grapes, there's everything that you could possibly want that's associated with abundance, right? The seed that you plant today isn't necessarily going to be the fruit that you eat today, right? And so it's very important that you maintain that level of optimism. That's why I stressed so much before that you need to change the way you think about relationships and the way that you think about yourself in relationships. It's not just something that you think of at the new moon. It's not like on Sunday, you're going to be like, okay, let me focus my thoughts on relationship. And then Monday, your thoughts go back to the garbage, right? No, you have to keep that same energy. The energy of this new moon is going to definitely be available to us for the next 2 weeks, but it's going to carry out for the next 6 months until the full moon in Libra, which is going to happen in 6 months from now. So it's important that throughout the next 6 months, or maybe even longer, you carry that same energy, you carry that same optimism, you keep your thoughts clean and healthy when it comes to yourself and relationships, and abundance is definitely assured. And that brings me to the next card, which is the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Pentacles is all about work, okay? And this is what I was just talking about just now. It's not just about keeping your mind right at the new moon. It's work. It's going to take some effort on your part to maintain that mental state. to keep your mental diet healthy so that whenever you encounter anything that doesn't look like a healthy relationship, you're able to say, no, that's not my reality. That's not my reality. My reality is that I have amazing relationships. My partner loves me. My friends absolutely adore me. All of my relationships are peaceful, harmonious, and equal. That is what you have to keep working at. That mindset, maintaining that mindset is what you have to keep working at as time goes on. All right. And then our last card is the 7 card, which is a message. I love the letter. I love the number 7 because it denotes the spiritual path. It denotes sort of your destiny and where you're meant to go. And I feel like many of us are going to realize this, particularly with all of those retrograde planets. With Mercury being retrograde and it being conjunct the new moon, some of us are going to receive messages from people from the past. Some of us are going to revisit past conversations, past text messages, emails, all of that stuff, because we're kind of supposed to at this point in time. Even though, Uranus isn't necessarily playing a starring role in this new moon, I feel like there's a certain destined element to it. I feel like many of us, whatever comes up for review, right? Whether it's a relationship or whether it's our thoughts and our feelings with respect to relationships, I think like we're meant to be going through this. We're meant to be revisiting those things. We're meant to be revising those things in order to have a brand spanking new relationship or to mend an existing one. So I feel like by and large, this message, right, that Spirit is giving us for this new moon is all about doing the work when it comes to our mental state, okay? It's all about thinking from a place of abundance and good luck and good fortune. Even if all of your relationships have gone to shit, even if all of your relationships are hard, unfair, and not necessarily what you want out of life, you need to think as though they already are. You need to put yourself in the state of mind that all of your relationships work out, that they're fair, that they're loving, that they're harmonious. Whatever you want your relationship to look like, that's the mental state that you need to embody. And that's what the mental state that you need to continue to embody as things and time moves forward. And in doing so, that's how you're going to attract the relationships that you truly want. That's how you're going to set the stage for healthy, equitable, and peaceful relationships going forward. It's all in your mind. Everything is mental. Once you start there, there is no way that you cannot have the relationship that you truly desire. The astrology supports it. The numerology supports it. It is time right here, right now, to finally change the relationship that you want to change. If you want to have a new one, now is the time to plant the seeds. If you want to mend an old one, now is the time to put that back together and get it back on track. I am so serious about this. That's why I said before, you're not going to want to sit this one out. Again, any action that you feel you need to take with respect to this new moon should be inspired action. If it's in alignment with your new way of thinking, with your new assumptions with respect to yourself and relationships, take it. If it's coming from a place of neediness, codependency, insecurity, or it aligns with your old story or your old assumptions about relationships, don't take the action because it's not going to end. It's not going to get you the result that you're ultimately looking for. So there's a lot that can be gained with relationships this new moon. I think that's why it's absolutely one of my favorites. And I think it'll be your favorite too. Now, that is unless relationships, you want nothing to do with them and you just want to be a hermit, then this new moon is going to be kind of annoying, just to be real. All right. But in any event, use the energy to your advantage. The only thing that can come out of this new moon is a beautiful, peaceful, and harmonious relationship that is everything you've always wanted. All right, my loves, that concludes today's video on the new moon in Libra. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information from this video. And if you did, kindly hit that thumbs up button, all right? If you'd like to know more about my products and services, those links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Happy new moon in Libra, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.